I think we're ready to kick off. Lecia, what do you reckon?
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
All
cool.
right.
All right. Sounds good.
All right,
You can
cool.
see
And
everything all right.
yeah, no, everything's cool. Everything's in focus. Everything's cool. All right, I'll just roll on in.
All right.
And welcome to the Pagey
Cool.
Train. This week we have on the show Lecia, Louise, solo artist, recently on Triple J Unearthed #1 for weeks and weeks with her single My Everything. Welcome to the show, Lecia.
Hey, Ross, thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
I've been meaning
We've been trying to do this for quite a while.
Yes, that's right. We've talked about
Sorry,
it for a
go on.
while. We have talked about it for a while. Like, I've been dying to get you in the studio. You've been traveling around like absolutely crazy. But it's even during COVID. Now we're all in lockdown, so here we are doing our lockdown episode.
Yeah.
AG Train.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been meaning to wait to get you to come through Sydney, but it just doesn't seem to fit together. So next time I get you in the studio, it'd be great to have you in the studio and have a couple of drinks.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait. I'm meant to be in Sydney now, actually.
Yeah,
they got cancelled.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everything's cancelled. The next 2 weeks is just crazy. So, but let me thank you for being on the show in this lockdown episode. Just as I did the introductions, there was, a song that you've done, My Everything, that was on the Triple J Unearthed for, 3-5 weeks. I can't remember now. What was that? What inspired you to write that song and get that going?
Well, My Everything is, I suppose it's a song of love, missing someone who's on the other side of the world, which I think many can relate to in this time. So many haven't been able to see their loved ones in a long, long, long time. So yeah, that's really what inspired My Everything. I wrote it on the hollow body electric guitar, and then the producer I was working with, Michael Flanders, and also 8-Ball Aiken, suggested, let's try it on the ukulele and brighten it up a little. So yeah, it's sort of like a happy love you, I miss you song, but yeah, hopefully not too soppy.
Yeah.
I'm not usually too soppy.
Well, look at going to one of your shows. Like you've been around. You've definitely been around the bush, going over to Europe, going over to the States. I got to see you in humble little Wollongong, doing a pub gig.
Cool.
Yeah, you certainly had. Yeah, that was that 2017, I think, somewhere around.
Could have been. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, you were doing. I think you were on tour at the time, doing the East Coast, and yeah, you certainly had some stage presence. Because it was one of those pub gigs, you know those gigs where you're just sort of in the corner of the pub. You've got some of the pub, but then you've got the bar, and you've got all the people that walk in and out of the pub. I think it's a good
Hopefully in.
Yeah. Well, the thing.
Hopefully they're walking in.
Yeah, the ones that the walk-ins going to the bar, that you made a lot of people stop. I think your stage presence is quite strong. Clearly a talented guitarist, but I think also you take up the space. You draw attention, and I think you have a lot of really good stage presence.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, but just, so speaking of that though, you've done the Country and Western Festival in Toowoomba. Have you been to that?
Let's see, Toowoomba. I went to Toowoomba a long, long time ago, but I don't think I've played a festival there. I have played, maybe I think of Tamworth.
Tamworth, sorry. I did this before. I was talking to Mr. before. I'm like, I always get those Toowoomba and Tamworth always mixed up. Yeah, no, Tamworth. Yeah, the Tamworth.
Tamworth, yeah. Yeah, I sort of hang on the edge of Tamworth because I'm not really that country, but yeah, sometimes people sneak in who don't play a lot of country, or I'll play a little bit, and get away with it. So
being on the
pretty much every come down to Sydney. Well, just hanging out on the peripheral. I quite like that.
Well, it's good to get away with, really. Being able to go between rock to blues to country to sort of an alternative pop sound. I think you certainly do have a lot of songs in your bag, that's for sure.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess I tend to lean towards the progressive rock, or that's kind of what I lean on. Head back to Hendrix, and I love Yes and Allman Brothers and all that sort of stuff, Cream and Eric Clapton. But yeah, now and then we'll jump over here, jump over there, frolic around a little.
Well, I think it's
then head back home.
Yeah, so that brings me to the next question. So that rock sort of vibe, that's where you sort of find yourself. What sort of motivates you to get into that space and write that kind of music?
Well, I suppose it helps if you've got a drummer and a bass player in the room with you. That really helps. Or just plugging in and turning up loud. That always helps. Which it's a funny thing to do in lockdown. Now and then I might turn it up by myself, but yeah, it's nice to share it with other people. Like sometimes collaborating with others. Oh yeah, just plug and turn it up. That's always a winner.
Yeah, I think it's a big part of music actually. Like I find when I try and write lyrics without music and you're just trying to sort of put things together, I find it way more of a challenge when I'm in a jam room with someone. I think when you've got an open chord, a lot of things can just start with an open chord and get that collaboration going in a room. So it's interesting to have a beat and something to work
Cool.
with. You do need those kind of platforms. So do you find when you do your writing, do you just sort of sit with a guitar and sort of come up with riffs, or are you more of a lyrical driven person?
Probably more so the riffs and chord progressions. However, I'd like to really try and do it the other way around. Like pretty much what you said sounded really inspiring. Just see what comes out. Pick a rhythm, or a topic of the songs that I'm sort of dabbling with that. But yeah, it's often guitar started and might try a few different tempos or try a few different things, and of course structure and the story, how it fits in with that. So yeah, guitar is pretty much where I lean.
Yeah,
I've dabbled with some piano. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that needs the stickers on the piano. That tell me where I'm going.
That's it.
Well, I did find it useful when I was trying to do chords and trying to move between octaves. Knowing some chords on a piano could be good as a vocalist, going into those spaces and exploring your voice. But yeah, definitely in a jam room, being amongst other musicians that you can communicate with. I think that's where I've done a lot of exploration with my voice.
Cool.
Working with heavy metal, and it's totally fish. I know, but I think there's I think the similarities is like having communication amongst other musicians. I think that's inspiring when I've been around other musicians and you're forced to work a little bit as well. Because are you someone that's driven to always write solo, or do you collaborate a lot with other musicians?
Probably more so solo. However, in my more recent years, have really enjoyed the collaboration. Oh no, in saying that, I've been in bands like when I was younger, and it was full on great collaboration. I hardly sang. I just played guitar and throw it over to the singer. It's like, here you go, you do it, and
Yeah.
So it's been a blend over my lifetime, but yeah, I suppose I still keep the hang out by I don't mind hanging out alone, and work on stuff. But of course, yeah, as you say, having musicians you trust and really respect, putting their slant on it, it's pretty cool. Because yeah, if you can create art that's going to be something else beyond ourselves, it's other people hopefully will connect with it better, and hopefully it sounds good.
Yeah,
As opposed to
hopefully.
horrible.
Yeah, hopefully. I think there's definitely like I don't know. I always find myself in a paradox when I write music. So, when I perform, I feel amazing. It makes me feel really good. But at the same time, you want people to enjoy the music that you're putting out. You don't just. It's not just about you; it's about them as well. So I find it a selfish and a selfless sort of thing. Doing music, there is that self gratification for music, but there's also the entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, hopefully, you'd think that the audience would connect with when you're really, really vibing on what you're doing. That they would be like, "Wow, I can totally feel that."
Yeah, I've seen you in a room do
reckon?
that. I've seen you do that. I've definitely seen you do that, where you've taken command of a room just by the sound of a guitar and a voice. And you had a really cool drummer. I ended up drinking like half a case of beer with that dude.
Simon.
Simon, yeah, big shout out to Simon actually.
Hey Simon.
Hey Simon, big shout out, mate. Yeah. So no, you guys,
Cool guy.
yeah, totally cool guy. But I think you guys had a really good vibe going, and it was definitely a stopper. People were stopping for that show.
Nice.
Yeah, totally. But as well though, you went through that sort of rock sort of thing, and you brought a bit of blues into it. I think you can definitely see the Hendrix sort of influences, especially when you had the guitar up around behind your head and doing like these pirouettes on stage, going full rock star. That was really cool.
Why not?
But
Might as well.
You might as well. That's right. You might as well. But let's talk about your debut album, Into Being. So when did your debut come out? Your debut album?
I put out the remaster of that album in 2015. So which is a little while ago. I have done some EPs since then and before then, but yeah, and working on the next one as well. But yeah, as for full length album, yeah, remaster 2015.
Yeah, okay. Because it's a different beast. It's a different beast going from an EP to an album. I've never taken the leap in doing an album. I've done a couple of EPs, but doing the album, the long form, is a lot of work.
Well, we thought it was going to take about 2 months, but it ended up taking about 2 years. And that's kind of happening with my next one. But it seems to be a bit of a singles world now, a bit like phones. We bought small phones and we bought big phones, and it's back to small phones and album, single. Well, yeah, but there's still an album listening audience out there, I think, when you're touring around. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, and yeah, it can cost a lot of time, and you want it to sound right. Sometimes I know how to do that, sometimes I don't, and I try and communicate, I want it to sound like this, and the producer you work with will either go, I don't know about that, or yeah, I totally get you, let's go for that. So hopefully the latter, if you can find people that are willing to just collaborate with you.
It's difficult. You got to find the people with the right ear of what you're doing. Like, I've worked with producers before that didn't have an ear for what we were working on. You need to, in a producer, I think you need that collaborative, alignment, where you both are on the sort of same genre, the same feel. You need to, I think, maybe a little bit of personality plays into it, but I think it's mainly about taste, and taste and certainly experience and prowess. You want a producer that knows their way around a recording studio, but you certainly also want a producer that sees your vision. And sometimes I think I've found challenges in the past looking for producers that do that. But luckily though, the last EP was fine. Big shout out to Mackenzie. He was really cool. But back to your. So it took about 2 years to do what it was called Into Being.
Yeah, Into Being.
Yeah,
so just Into Being. Yeah.
Well, when you do a whole album like that, is it all at one story, or is it a whole bunch of separate stories, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a really good question. With that album, I started off with producer Hamish Robertson. Hi, Hamish. And I suppose with back toing froing with him, he was like, "Oh, this song's good." So I just sort of showed him a whole bunch of stuff that I had been working on or that I was working on, and then he helped pick out what he thought was the best stuff in that thing. And as for genres, well, I suppose it kind of was a slightly genre hopping album, but we kind of didn't care, because it's like, well, this is my music, and I don't really want to squeeze into a little box just because people say I'm meant to. So yeah, I suppose it's a bit of both from what you said there. But when you put it together track by track, you hopefully can take the audience on some sort of journey, and then they find themselves at the end of the album, and hopefully they want to put it back on again.
Yeah, you definitely want to be replayed, right? You definitely go, oh, well, I've listened to that now and that's over. You would definitely want that replay value for sure.
Especially in this world.
Yeah, totally.
0.0003 cents point per play.
Oh, wow, you got a good deal. You got a great deal. That sounds like a fabulous deal. I think my first royalty check, well, not royalty, I think it was APRA. My first APRA check was like $2.30 or something like that.
Awesome. Oh, cool. You remember your first one. That's great.
Yeah. I didn't. It was interesting to figure out, like, when you start out as just a budding musician, and before you start even performing, you just want to play music. And then you start performing at venues and you realize there's a bit of a business behind the whole thing. And you want to get paid for your work at some point. But what I didn't realize is that you can have when you have the copyright to your own music, you get paid to perform your own music. I didn't know that. That's part of what a performance. That's what part of APRA is. They collect from venues, from revenue that is made at those venues, and you get a cut of that. But it's a very tiny, small cut.
Yes, it depends. Same with radio, and where it's being played. Which gig, festival, pub. I hear you.
Yeah, well, you got to be set up for it. Once you get set up, at least you got some revenue coming in. But again, though, like you say, like 0.003 cents per ad isn't exactly a flag to come and join us. Being a musician.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh, we're very successful.
Yeah. But I think I've
definitely
lost
do for sure.
But your other, you had your I think it was your debut EP, and it was called is it called Prete? Like as in Prete?
Oh, Perte. That was the second EP, I think. Yeah, Perte. Yeah, that's an EP. My very first EP was Heaven or Hell, but Perte, which I can't pronounce very well either, is actually Italian for you, because I was playing in Italy quite a lot, and I love the Italian language and the food and the wine and the people there. So I dedicated the name of that EP, sort of from my time in Italy.
Yeah, okay.
But there's nothing sung in Italian on the CD.
Haven't gone that far yet.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if I could pull that off.
Yeah, it's already a difficult challenge. Yeah, no, I thought it might. I was pronouncing it incorrectly. I thought it said "prede," like as in "prede."
Oh, I kind of like that.
Perte.
You're so pretty.
Yeah. But again, though, it wasn't your first time on Triple J, and it wasn't your first time with My Everything. You'd also been on Triple J Unearthed for #1 for Individual. That was I think that was about 10 years ago.
Let's see. I think it was maybe 2015 as well.
So it was only 5 years ago.
Unless you've got something written down in front of you, you might know better than me, because my memory's a bit all over the place. Maybe it was 6 years ago. Yeah, 2015. Yeah. Same year I put the remastered album out. I put Individual out as a single. It went to #1 on the Triple J Unearthed charts as well for about 5 weeks or 3 weeks. Can't remember, a few weeks. And which was nice. It's nice just to get a little bit of support from Triple J. And just see if that can help boost you along a little further along.
Well, surely it's helpful being #1 on the Triple J Unearthed twice. I'm pretty, surely that does give you a bit of a boost.
Well, we'll soon find out. I don't know. It's something I can say. So I'm really happy about it. But yeah,
it's sort of the resume sort of thing, where you go, oh yeah, no, that's the thing that I got. Like, for my last band, Alpha Degenerate, we were in the Triple J Hottest 100 for metal, but we're in like the 90s, and people go, oh, that's really awesome. You go, yeah, but didn't really get us anywhere, man. Like we're still playing in a garage in Penrith. Still trying to get a gig.
Especially in this day and age. You could get the gig, but it might be swiped from beneath your feet at any moment. But
you could be loading your van. You could be loading your van on your way to a gig, and it get cancelled for you this day and age.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, terrifying conversations. I got a gig coming up. The terrifying conversations.
That's right. It's sort of like a forced break. do other things.
Yeah, well, you were mentioning before, just before we started the show, that you've been working because you've been playing way too much guitar. You've got a couple of a hand injury at the moment, so you've been working on your voice. How's that journey been going for you?
Well, this is a place I've been before. 10 years ago, I got tennis elbows really, really bad in both my arms, and I had to cancel trips to Holland and gigs there and tours around, and it's something that I just manage now. So recently, just been getting some, I suppose it's RSI problems in my thumb joints, which is quite a necessary part of playing guitar and, grabbing things and playing. But so I've just been taking it really easy, just listening to the body, as frustrating as that is, and just doing a very minimal amount of playing. I did a little bit of slide playing the other day, but then, so I thought, well, practice the vocals, which is usually a bit tedious for me. I much prefer playing guitar, but I thought, well, I'll practice some Seth rigs and some scales and see what's on YouTube and sing along with some stuff, do some recorded some vocals last week, working on the next releases. So at least something's happening. Though I am going to the Adelaide Guitar Festival in a week and a half.
Well, it's planned. It's planned.
Yeah. A week and a half of playing and teaching guitar there. So I think with this, just got to find a new way of playing sometimes. Just relax and take little breaks when needed.
Do exercises, take breaks, look at your diet. They tell you to do all these things to make it better. But hey, every guitarist wants to be a vocalist, and every vocalist wants to be a guitarist. So that's just how it always goes.
There you go, win-win.
Yeah, that's it.
Lose, win-win.
Well, the grass is always greener. I reckon.
Yeah. You must love fronting a band. Just as a vocalist.
Yeah, it's like being a hood ornament on a really noisy truck. But I love it. I don't know. I guess. Fun. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think playing guitar is more impressive. I think like when you sing, like everyone's got a voice, everyone can talk, but not everyone can play guitar. It's something you can't just just hop in and start playing guitar. You've really got to work at it. But with that said, I know as a vocalist, I've been working on it for 25 years. I'm always learning something new.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally. But I always worry about the day that I break. Like I'm 40 now. I've been singing and doing this heavy metal stuff since I was 15. And I do sessions normally to do an hour show or a 45-minute show. I'll make sure I can sing for 4 hours, so I can bring it for that 1 hour when I'm scheduled for a show. But sometimes I go to sessions and I just find it hard to do the 4 hours. I've just gotten longer in the tooth.
It's a long time.
Yeah, man, it's a long time to be using that part of your voice.
That's true. So they're small muscles, really, aren't they? And you'd know more about it than I would, but there's a lot going on in a small region.
Yeah.
Well, it's your whole body, of course. It's not just here.
Yeah, but, to bellow, it's like you got to use your whole body as a bellow to get through this small part to then bend it to make noise. And that's one way I look at it. But they teach us to do the Zen of screaming, to develop your muscles in your face and your neck. So the Zen of screaming, they'll get you to do. It's a speech therapist. I've forgotten her name.
I know. I was just watching her recently. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a great idea. They've gone to vocalists that are a bit broken because they've done too many shows, and they take them to this speech therapist, and she does the Zen of screaming. So like they do exercises. So one's like you got to do your scrunch face, and then you got to do your wide face, which is so wide. We go like that. So
okay. So what's that do?
Well, that's like when you scream and you go, ah! And you, oh. So it teaches you it gives that muscle, it works that muscle so you can hold it longer. And then you do the press in. So you do you got to push, you push your hand into your diaphragm and you got to push it out with your lungs.
There we go. Oh,
yeah, so that's all the Zen of screaming stuff. I was doing some today, actually. I did some, what song was I think I was doing like a Slipknot song. Thank you, my neighbours. They know that I like Slipknot. But,
awesome neighbours. Yeah.
Yeah. They must. Well, I hope so. I hope they're awesome. So I was doing some Slipknot today, and I think there was this one rhythm that they do where he barely takes a breath, and you can really feel it in your lower abdominal. And I was just, I'm getting old, man. Getting old.
Yeah, well, New Balance. Yeah.
Maybe I've still got the fingers for guitar. I don't know. But I guess that, yeah, like, how long have you been playing guitar now? It would be a couple of decades since you were a kid.
Yeah. I think maybe like 25 years. But like live, like professionally, gosh, I'm losing track. 20
20
years.
20 years of pro?
Yeah, like, yeah, total pro, like bit of uni and various gigs. Yeah, it kind of catches up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Doesn't feel that long, but
Well, I do. Speaking of uni, though, if anyone who's young is listening and you want to get into bands, I recommend going to uni. It doesn't matter what you study, because uni gives you a lot of time to start a band, and starting a band is a lot of work. And being a musician is a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a lot of budding musicians watching this show? Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah, like
yeah.
Most of the guys that listen, most of the people that listen to our show, most of them are filmmakers and musicians, or people that like to go to see shows and to see to go to festivals and things like that. So I also obviously promote Made in the West, and I promote shows that I do and shows that I work on. Hopefully I'm doing a festival coming up, which will be really cool. I'll find out in a couple of days. Been watching that date tick over. It's now the 30th of June. I find out in 4 days, I think, if I'm in a festival.
Oh, cool.
Okay. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed to get into this festival.
Yeah.
Because it'd be cool to, just play in front of crowds like that. Yeah, like I've done plenty of pubs and clubs. Like I've done those venues, and I want to do an open air venue. That'd be great.
Yeah, so much fun.
It must be. It must be.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were lucky enough that Blues on Broadbeach still went ahead. The festival on the Gold Coast. I don't know. Have you heard of that festival?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're so lucky that went ahead, and yeah, that was outdoors and people and stages. It's like, oh gosh, what's going on here? So I remember this. Like, yeah, COVID was a funny thing. Yeah, and it's super fun, and so yeah, hopefully Byron goes ahead all right in October. The reschedule.
Yeah, hopefully Byron gets up and running. They've had a few blows in the last 2 years. So hopefully they get their run this year. I really, really hope for those guys, because those organisers are going for another go. Because I think they didn't get to do it last year. So they're going again this year. So I really hope for those guys. But I think venues are starting to open up now. I think COVID was a strange thing in the arts. Like I'm fortunate enough to be across different fields of arts, from filmmaking to music production, and a lot of different people are affected in a lot of different ways. And I think art itself was affected. I think my writing changed. The way I operate with my band changed. There was a time there. I think I wrote 6 songs in like 6 months, something crazy like that. Something which was very productive for us. Kind of died off because when you're, I envy the solo artist, Lecia. I envy the solo artist. You got no one.
Right, because they can.
You can just write when you want.
Right. Yeah. That's true. I suppose it's handy for touring if budget's an issue or space. But yeah. But you could jot down. Yeah, you could jot down lyrics and stuff like that. But when you're afar, because you really feed on that interaction.
Yeah, when
band,
you're just
right.
Yeah, well, when you're just a lyricist, you're the last person on the conveyor belt generally. So a guitarist will come up with a riff. That riff will then get worked with a drum track. That will then be populated with more guitar and bass. And then by that time, that's when generally the vocalist comes in and goes, I'll lay these tracks over these parts, and here's the chorus, here's the verse. Here's like this, deep, crazy opening because we're doing some sort of thrash metal tribute. I don't know. But usually, for me, like I'm always the last guy at the end of the chain of the content creation, and I'm always the old hag that's like pestering my band for content, you know, like just write me something, man. Let me write. While you're not writing, I can't write.
I understand, right?
So yeah, I do envy the solo artist for sure.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting perspective. Thanks for sharing.
So I usually get that on the Pagey train. I'm always sharing strange perspectives. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the weird life that I've led. But you know, not that I'm complaining. It's all very fun. I just hope my gig doesn't get shut down, and I hope I get the festival. Is there any other shows coming up for you other than the Gold Coast? You got any shows coming up after that?
Well, as I said before, the Adelaide Guitar Festival, so we're playing with like Ash Grunwald and the Hussey Hicks, and a whole bunch of other amazing artists in different parts of Adelaide and regional parts of Adelaide. And then I'm also part of teaching a winter school down there, so we're teaching guitar for a week straight with Carl Williams Jr., Chris Finnan, Jules Parker. I think Ash Grunwald's popping in as well. So that's a fair chunk of July happening there. There are some festivals later in the year, but some of them have said, please don't announce anything yet. So what you'll have to do is just keep an eye on my socials and my website, which is lecialouise.com, or join the mailing list at lecialouisemusic.com, Lecia, or Instagram and all that stuff. And then I can share more as time goes on, and hopefully the path is clear and everything does keep going ahead. But we've got some things lined up, and also I've got a single lined up to put out.
Oh, you got another single?
Very.
Is it produced? Have you produced it yet? Is it hot off the plate? You ready to go?
Oh, look, it's hot and sizzling. It's medium rare, just how I like it, closer to rare. And it's pretty much done. It's just got the final mixes to do, and it's been quite a collaborative effort, this next one with this was the collaborative songwriting and a few different producers on board, and started recording it in America, and then recorded some at home and in a couple of studios in Brisbane. And then Steve James, who's worked with the Ruddles, Cold Chisel, Screaming Jets, he's been injecting some of his inspirations into it, while keeping the song how it should be. And a couple other special guests on there, which I really can't wait to share as well.
Wow, you got a lot going on there. You got a lot going on, Lecia.
There's a lot crammed into that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, it always happens. Every time I talk to an artist, man, it happens every time. I start talking about, all right, so what movies you got coming out? What shows you got coming up? What are you writing? And there's always this part where they go, oh, well, this is part that I mentioned before. And there's this thing that's really awesome, but I can't tell you too many details about it. It's under embargo at the moment. I've got a deal that's being signed. There's money on the line. I can't talk about it, but it's great.
It's great. Yeah.
Well, it's a good sign. It's a good sign when you hear that from an artist. It means like the things are flowing, things are working. It's a positive place to have some of that. I don't know, a little bit of mystery that's down the road. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, I like it. Well worded. I'll stick with that.
Well, I think as well. Another really a thing that really blows me away is like I think you're an inspiration for people to be a guitarist. I think you really draw people in. I think the way that you do that, again, though, I can't get over your stage presence. But someone that's, I don't know, when I talk to you, like I've had a beer with you in the pub and sometimes you can be a bit shy. But when you're on stage, I think you just tear the place apart. I think you draw people in. And I think that's quite inspirational. It was really impressive to see.
Oh, thanks, Ross. That's great. It's definitely my happy place. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Shucks, you're too kind.
Oh shucks. I'm not usually a big talker, but yeah, music should say it all.
You've certainly done a fantastic job today. Guys, do not forget to go and check out the single My Everything, and also some older singles out there, the individual, and of course the album Into Being. And stay tuned for Lecia Louise's single coming out soon. Can't talk too much about it, but it's coming. And just one more time, Lecia, where can people find you online?
You can join my mailing list where you get free music and special releases at lecialouisemusic.com. That's Lecia LeciaLouiseMusic.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook at Lecia Louise. Yeah, but again, the email is the best place to go because there's extra stuff that we don't put out on, streaming platforms and stuff like that. It's more stuff.
Yeah, you need more stuff. I always agree with that. Go to the website, guys. There's more stuff there. There's more connections to be made, and you can find everything that you need. Well, Lecia, thank you so much for being on the show, on this lockdown special, if you will.
Yeah, been so great to be on here. Thank you so much. It's really great to finally catch up with you on here, and yeah, really fun chat. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Lecia. Thank you very much. And next time you're in Sydney, I'll see you in the studio for sure.
You betcha.
All right, great. And you've been watching The Pagey Train. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple, iTunes. You can find us on Amazon. And, of course, our viewership out there, YouTube. And if you've been watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button. You guys have been watching The Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. All right, that's it. That's the show done.
Awesome. Nice wrap.
I've done it.
Very cool.
This is episode 86, I think. I can't remember.